Yeah, certainly. And, while that certainly was the more interesting part of the debate, we will get back to that at 11. We want to talk about some of the issues that were addressed tonight, from education to gun control. But one of the most interesting issues for sure that was touched on tonight was bolstering small business in Michigan, especially coming out of this pandemic. And we know that a lot of businesses really couldn't get a foothold after the pandemic. It was something that the candidates were very passionate about, talking about how they were going to improve the climate for small and medium-sized businesses. As to how they were going to do it, we really did get some varied and interesting answers from these candidates, starting with our first two talking about energy solutions as an approach to this.
The fact of the matter is the DeVos family owns you. You're our version of Gretchen Whitmer. You'll say anything or do anything to get elected. And
why did you give money to Mitt Romney?
Just be honest, Tudor. It's okay. Tell the people the truth.
You're the one.
Not the soundbite that we wanted to give you for that. However, we're going to move on now. We do have an expert analysis on this, and we want to get some outside opinion.
Yeah, we are joined by Western Michigan University's Cooley Law Professor Jeff Swartz. Jeff, right off the bat, wanted to ask you what your initial reaction to this debate was tonight.
Well, until the last 15 minutes or so, it was pretty tame. Everybody tried to stick to their script, tried to stick to their pat answers. Nobody really wanted to stand out very much. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the polls really show it's pretty close, even for the second two. The top two are within the margin of error. And I think part of the problem is you got 38% of the Republican electorate who just can't make up their mind, and they're afraid of offending people. And then at the end, they just decided they would just go after Tudor Dixon because she's an easy target for them.
Saldano said afterwards, he told me that this debate really set some of the weaker candidates away from the stronger candidates. In your mind, did anybody actually set themselves apart from the other candidates tonight?
I'm not sure that anybody did. Everybody tried to look tougher than the next guy. And I guess it's really a matter of which part of being tough you were looking for. Everybody staked their territory as to what they thought was the most important, and they stuck with it through many of the answers that they gave. So you really didn't see anything new from what I've seen of these candidates. The only person who tried to look tougher than the most was Mr. Saldano, but that's just his general demeanor from what I've been able to see in the past.
Yeah, and Saldano before this debate tonight, he actually posted that he wants the former President Trump to stay out of this race and not endorse a candidate and let these candidates duke it out themselves and let the people of Michigan decide. How important do you think a former President Trump endorsement would be for these candidates?
With this many undecideds, I think that if former President Trump came in and endorsed any one of these candidates, it would certainly put at least among the top four, one of those over the top. But I think that at this point, I think that's highly unlikely. I just don't see former President Trump wanting to come in and endorse somebody and then take the chance that they may lose. This is the last thing he needs in the state of Michigan, is to lose a primary race. So I think that Mr. Saldano is probably going to get his wish.
I'd like to fix that for the
And Rabant echoed that sentiment today. He said his team doesn't believe that the former president will make an endorsement. Do you think that one of these candidates has the best chance to go toe-to-toe with Governor Gretchen Whitmer?
I'm not sure about that. I think that their positions are pretty clear. All of them kind of belied any kind of bipartisanship. I'm not sure that that's going to bode well in the long run with the electorate in the state of Michigan. So I'm not sure with the polls the way that they are for Governor Whitmer that any of them are going to be able to make that kind of rise against her, and certainly not if President Trump endorses them. I think that's another reason why they'd like him to stay out of Michigan if they can possibly keep him out.
Going to that meeting, I know you lied.
Okay. Well, Professor Swartz, we appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful day, guys.
We will. as well. And we will continue our coverage here at Oakland University. I know we're going to get back to some of those topics that the questions that you and your team of moderators asked of the candidates tonight.
Certainly. Interesting take there, too, talking about blind bipartisanship. Sure. There were several times where we had to actually press these candidates for their answer on which policy or which agenda item they could work across the aisle on. We couldn't get straight answers from some of them. So certainly something interesting to note. But as Josh said, we'll be back at 11 with more coverage. But for now, we'll send it back to you in the studio, Jamie.